They embody bravery, determination and team spirit. It's indeed these qualities that have helped 6 Indian explorers to take up the challenge of circumnavigating the globe on the sailboat INSV Tarini. It was in 2018 that one of them went around the world solo on the sailboat. They have all undergone training for this expedition. It's in this context that the INSV Tarini anchored in Mauritius. Manoeuvring a sailboat is no doubt a challenge. A team from the MBC made a short trip to sea to find out more. Female members of the police force were also on board. Now here is a report on the heroines of the Indian Navy.
Rough seas, scorching sun, biting cold and freezing wind, challenges that the 6 Indian female officers of INSV Tarini took up with an unrelenting spirit. In 2018, they charted a new course in history after their successful world tour on board the INSV Tarini sailboat, a 254-day expedition covering 22,000 nautical miles.
Sailing is always a good experience, and circumnavigating was one of the experience which I would never forget in my life. We went through 2 cyclones, like there were winds of about 70 to 80 knots and high sea, high waves. Every day used to be challenging in some or the other way, like our steering gear broke in the middle of ocean, like we were not able to steer. It's like you have to maintain your emotional stability also. Sea always calls you back. You kind of start loving it.
Outflow is port control. This is Indian Naval Sailing Vessel Tarini.
Ship Tarini, permission granted.
On September 7th, the INSV Tarini docked in the Mauritius harbour as part of the 7th anniversary of India's independence. Our team went on board for a short sailing trip.
1, 2, 6. 1, 2, 6.
The sail has been hoisted and INSV Tarini is all set to sail off. On board 6 women police officers for a sharing of experience and expertise. A short expedition, but however brief it may be, it bears testimony to the long-standing friendship between India and Mauritius. The female officers of the National Coast Guard and the police joined forces with the crew to maneuver the sailboat.
This Mauritius police officer, now today they have got first-hand feel of, how it is to be with the, with the nature. And they have pulled the ropes, they have seen how much hard work needs to set a sail. And that builds the courage, that builds the stamina, that builds the character in a person.
From Goa to Mauritius, an expedition with an exceptional mission.
We have come out on this expedition to train 2 young women officers of the Indian Navy. Out of them, 1 will go around the world in the same boat. Next September or October, as the time is deemed fit, they will take a trip around the world.
Indeed, the call of the sea has taken over, but this time the expedition will be led by a single female officer, hence the preparation expeditions.
It is our job over here to teach them and tell them the ways and procedures which are required on board, how to keep yourself healthy, how to keep the boat healthy, how to learn to work on the ropes when you are alone, what are the maintenances required time and again, so in case there is some small repairs which will be required, so which will help them in their own solo circumnavigation.
On the sailboat, it's the wind which decides, experience and expertise combined with the whims of nature.
This is a sailboat and we entirely depend on the elements of nature, and there's like tons of force when you hoist the sail. So every maneuver which we do on the boat, whether you tack, jibe, you hoist the sails, it requires a lot of force.
Sailing around the world solo is a quite challenging thing to do. When the Navy asked for the volunteers for this, I opted for this because I want to do something different. And now the training is going on, and among 2 of us, 1 will be selected.
For the Mauritian elements of this crew, this expedition helped them not only to conquer their fears, but also to work together. I had sailed on the Barracuda once, but was unaware of the functioning of a sailboat. Life at sea is nice, but not easy. It demands a lot of courage. How to maneuver the boat, especially if it is a sailboat, with the experience of the officers of the Indian Navy, we learnt a lot. We helped out, pulled the ropes. It was a nice team building activity. Their trip on board the INSV Tarini above all taught us to rise above petty issues to steer towards a common goal, and that success is guaranteed with a well-oiled team. The sailboat lifted anchor yesterday. We wish the team fair winds.